Sweet. G'day, legends. Welcome back to Roadside, presented by Zwift. Today, we discuss a concerning situation around our big star, Sam Welsford, and his contract with Ineos Grenadiers that is pending. Have Ineos pulled the rug on our man, Tommy?
Have that?
What
do you know? You tell me, mate.
No. What else are we talking about in this episode?
Now, we're always going to take a deep dive into the Tour de France route. Does anyone actually care, mate? Do we care about that? I certainly do. I know you on the other side of the fence. And mate, it's the off season. It is the off season. This year is wrapped up officially and unofficially. We're going to have a look at sort of our own training on the bike, what's coming up for the summer of cycling.
We are. So this weekend, actually, we've got one of the big races that we have talked about over the last few weeks here in Western Australia called the Tour of Margaret River. Like I said, we've had Jens Voigt, Annemiek van Vleuten, Marianne Vos, O'Connor, Keno, McEwen, Storer, Welsford, you name it. All the big stars have been down to Margaret River. Alan, yep. And if you're in Australia, Durbo, the list goes on. If you're in Australia, you would have heard about the Tour of Margaret River as it used. It was very close at one point to being an NRS race as well.
I heard this. This was sort of like that 2018, sort of 2017. It was on the precipice of becoming an NRS race. I'm glad it didn't, because it wouldn't be around, I reckon, if it was NRS.
It wouldn't get the 1,500 punters rolling in year after year. And the reason why it is the last year for this race is that the same organisers who put on the Tour of Margaret River, for those East Coast listeners, also put on 7 gravel races, which, as you can understand, next year will be what will be run in May, the usual date for 7. And then, of course, in October, we will do it again for the World Championship. So just logistically, they couldn't put it on again after that with the Worlds. It takes up so much bandwidth. So it's the last year Tour of Margs. We're going down this weekend, Thursday to Monday.
Thursday to Monday. We'll see what Sunday looks like. We'll see how it shapes up. We've got to stimulate the local economy down there, Shelter Brewing. They do a great job. Shout out. You got a special memory with Tuma? I thought I'd just bring one up. I've got a good one.
I've got 2. One of my favourite memories is racing for the Midland Cycling Club when we had Paulina Ruyakas on our team. Of course, 3rd at the Tour de France.
Poor girl riding with you.
I know, she's on our team, and she taught us how to ride a team's time trial. It was fantastic, and she was great on the team. And, I was with a couple of the older boys of the Midland team, and I'm fair to say they were a big fan of Paulina. That was a great time for me. And then I would probably say the criterion we held in Nana, which I raced, and they had Matthew Keenan and Robbie McEwen, who were paid a hefty fee.
Well deserved.
They were commentating it, and I remember thinking, as an aspiring commentator at the time, that was very cool. What about you?
Yes, good call. Okay, I'm going to go vastly different. You like it. So I reckon it was, no, it's good. It was last stage of, 2016 Tuma, the one along Caves Road. We're heading back to the paddock or wherever it was finishing that year. And I was actually in the day's break with Ben King, who used to ride at sort of at the under 23 level, just a hitter. And he was strong, old man, sort of strong. Yeah. King, he was actually a coach at the time. He sort of gave me a little tap on the shoulder as he moved through the bunch. He said, "Let's go, hit him." Anyway, we get up the road, and I'm just hanging by a thread. Kingy's just absolutely got me pinned. We get to the last couple of rollers, and we've got 30, 40 seconds. We've got to get there. We've got 2 little rollers to get over. And on this second last roller, Kingy just rocked me. 1 metre became 10, then 20, and I'm out the arse as quickly as he can. No. I get caught by a raging bunch. This year, Michael Freeberg threw his hands up in the air, thought he'd won it. There's Ben King in the corner. He wins by like 10 metres. And the worst thing about Kingy, the legend that he is, he was going to give it to me because I was a young fella coming through. I did.
Oh, you could have a stage with.
Oh, Tuma, I just didn't have it. I didn't have enough. The writing was on the wall. I was, doing my best work on this side of the fence.
Very good. That's a good one. It's a great race. And then, again, for the East Coast listeners, the way it works is that it always starts with a team's time trial. That grades the, I don't know, it's supposed to be like
the 10 teams.
Well, it's more than 10 teams. It's like
10 teams in
120 teams. Yeah, it's 120 teams of 6. 120 teams of 6. And your team's time trial, we all do the same course. That grades you the top 10 teams. There's your A grade for men's and women's. And then it goes down to, for the men's, I mean, these days it goes down to L grade. And then the next 3 stages, you then race against only the teams in your grade. So it's your own. It's a great stage race for all grades. So it's a great ride, and we go down there these days to commentate. We do the
Would you call it commentary?
Yeah, because we're commentating on what's happening. The live action not so much because of course many's point to point, but we've got the team's time trials. There's a big dick swing, isn't it? The first opening team's time trial.
It's a very big writing on the wall for
who's the strongest.
Some of the factions in Perth. Who is the best? So
and
I reckon it's just amplified as well. And also, mate, you normally do your power rankings.
Yes.
And I have just inundated. My inbox is full with demands of where the power rankings are. So
I
haven't
pull your finger out. If I thought about it today. The power rankings really are a hot property, and people get they take it personally. If I put your team not first, not third, or not even in A grade, it's like I've personally attacked them, and I'll do them again this year. But you just all must know, you West Australians, it's not a personal attack if I don't put you in the top 10 or you're 7th. You think you might be 5th, and there's Strava titles going out against me. And it's like, I'm not going against you. But anyway, we might do the power rankings. It does create a bit of hype, which makes us excited. That's the whole point.
Yeah, it's good.
So
we'll be doing 2 Mar TV.
We will. We do a little package after each stage as well. Just a little video package recapping a day. So it's a good weekend for us.
It is.
We play a bit of golf as well while we're down there.
Don't say that on air.
I play. Tommy tries.
Mate, you hack about, mate.
Now, speaking of racing, we're in the off season, so we might just share a bit more of our own personal stuff before we get into our big news that, of course, we preluded with. But you had your first road race in a long, long time.
I did, mate.
Since those Caves Road days.
Yeah, I did. I was shout out Midland Cycling Club again, mate. I was out there, Midland 100, and I was in B grade over the weekend, mate, hacking about. First time racing a road race, I think, since 2019. Oof. So, mate, a lot of fun. It was the longest ride I'd done for, I reckon, about 3-4 months.
It's a hard course too.
Yeah, it was grippy.
Yeah,
it was proper grippy. I spent about 2 hours at about 185 beats. So, mate, I was on the limit. A lot of fun, though. It just shows you can go out and race. You just got to go out and race. Don't worry about the grade. Don't worry about getting dropped. Put a number on and get out and support your local cycling club and race. So it was a great day out.
Were you fit enough? Do you think you're fit enough for that grade?
No. The people just throwing haymakers. I tried a few times. It was interesting, actually. I had the mental ability of going, I should attack here. And then a few times I went, if I do, what am I going to do? I'm going to get 20 metres off the front and then get rolled back in by an absolute Gary. And I was racing with the USC boys and myself and my great compatriot, Matt Gray. We dribbled. We dribbled some absolute crap in the bunch. We were just feeding unsolicited advice to everybody in B grade. Group get up the road and we'd say, we've got one up there. And encourage every other group to pull them back, and they did in B grade. It's amazing.
You can command. If you've got a loud voice, a bit of confidence behind it, people will do almost anything.
A lot of fun, mate. But you were supposed to be out there, mate. You were on C grade.
I was
C grade.
I got stitched up in. All right, mate. I got stitched up by my co-worker at work, and he gave me a fucking cold. I was spewing because I've been training on Zwift for this. I can't get outdoors as much because of the nature of the time I have to work. So it's hard for me to do bunchies, that sort of stuff. So Zwift is like
more nasally than usual.
My killer. And anyway, I got sick, so I couldn't race, even though I was leaving it to the very last minute whether I would still drive.
What, you had your kit on in the morning? You get up and see how
I had the chain lubed. The chain was lubed. But anyway, I couldn't do it, but I did get on Zwift anyway. And I did the Zwift.
Oh, good man.
Spun the legs, and I just kept the 20-week streak alive.
20 weeks? You're coming up enough. You're entering that phase where you just can't miss it now. You can't do it.
And this is where that
dangerous.
The great feature on Zwift where it counts your weeks in a row that you have been on Zwift, even just an hour. Just that, it's got the number there, streak. It counts, and I can't drop it now. It's a great. It's been really good at sucking me in to keep me riding.
That sort of stuff would just ruin.
And I'm trying to unlock new kits, and I'm genuinely worried about my avatar and the bike I'm riding. And I want to upgrade it, and you've got to ride more and upgrade it. I just love that stuff.
For me, Vortex, wonderful. How good is Zwift? It gets you doing it. You wouldn't have ridden on the weekend if you didn't have the Zwift being a little bit cruel.
Yeah.
I found it a bit
Only 2.5 hours on Zwift. Yeah, I was killing it. So it is good. I really want to test my fitness outside, but obviously because we commentate most of the local races, here, I'm very limited about the ones I can race, and that was one of them on the weekend that I could. Yeah. So there's only one other road race that I'll be able to this year, and I think it's scheduled for the same day the criterium that we're commentating. So they've clashed dates. So we'll see. But anyway, my fitness is going good. I'm going to turn my attention. Well, I'm not sure how it'll work, but I'm going to try for nationals to do the Fondo. Like last year, of course, with commentating, I might try and work in my contract that I don't commentate the Fondo, so I can do the Fondo and then quickly have a shower, get changed, and the road race.
Little hose down, hey? I'll bring a couple of litres of water for you, mate. You can just behind a tree in Kings Park.
5-star hotel in Kings Park.
Oh, very nice.
As part of the deal.
Well, and then we'll get to work, obviously, on that day.
We certainly will. Now, I did ask the fans of Roadside on Instagram quickly today, a little last minute, to discuss some topics that we could talk about on today's pod. I'll rip a few up. First one was Brendan Davis, a great man. Love Brent. Hopefully he's going good.
Yeah, he had a bit of an off, didn't he?
Bingle. He just touched up the eyebrows. He said PSL, the Pro Velo Super League.
Yeah, of course, I can.
What do you know about that right now, Tommy?
Oh, look, I know. The socials. No, I haven't, mate. What's going on there?
Oh, just posting socials.
I can't say it goes to the top of my algorithm unless I really seek it out. No, but they do a great job. They've had things ticking along over in the background. I know that the pieces of the puzzle, if the next year is still sort of moving around, it's a bit of a shapeshifter at the moment.
It is.
But, NRS, it's had many formats, so I think it'll still go around. I like capacity, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, what I do like is we didn't mention it last weekend, but the Meridian Blue site.
Now, that was a great. Yeah, I did see that. That was a good announcement.
Now, of course, that started as 99 bikes. Great David Williams and his crew behind there started that. It was really an under-19s junior women's development team, and got some really ripping young women on that squad. They've now merged with, I think it's the New Zealand outfit Black Magic.
Yes.
And now they've become a continental team. So big news for them, and congrats to Dave and the whole crew behind. That was a really good outfit from the Pro Velo. They were able to show their colours. I think they had the likes of Keely Bennett race with them a few times.
Yes, she did.
Shooting on the stage in Launceston, Devonport.
Yep, the crit in Devonport.
The crit, yeah.
Yeah, that was a great performance from that team. A young outfit.
Yep.
I remember watching the broadcast, and they had the composure of just the senior team, and they delivered on the day.
So Pro Velo wise, I really liked the emergence of them from last year, and of course that domination from Team Brennan on the men's side, and it was kind of like an all-stars team. A bit unfair, really, how good their team was.
It was.
But next year they've got the calendar up on the website.
Yeah, okay.
Just when you're reading the calendar,
what does that mean?
I'm telling you now, that won't be the calendar next year. It won't be. It will be an adjusted. There's a couple of races on there that I don't think
you roll the tea leaves.
Go ahead. You know me, mate. I've got many things I'm allowed to say, many I can't. But I'm looking forward to it. I just think temper expectations for Pro Velo. Someone also said creative.
I just wonder when can we expect something then solid?
I think they said on their socials they'll be announcing the full calendar soon. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, pretty sure. So it should be good. I'm looking forward to that Adelaide round.
Yeah, SA ticket. Yeah, that's great. Tickets. Yeah, that day out at Salindon, that was hard.
Along with two another. Rich says Creative Wheels. Well, I know Taco's on Tuesday, so we've got to talk about Creative Wheels. What else? The 7 training. We weren't 7 training, Chef to Roger. Oh, yes.
7 training.
For 7 in May next year.
You know what? If I'm not going to be on the tools, then I'm going to ride it. And my old man is dead set. He wants to get in there. He wants to qualify. It's Project Don, Chief de Mission for Senior Don. He is locked in. So, yeah, we're going to get the old man up. Even if I ride with him and I'm just there, it'll be good fun. So bring it up.
I still haven't got my SRAM wheel out of the box. It's just sitting
there. That was such a letdown. We've got to do that again. Go down there and ride the course.
When the weather's right, we'll go back and finish it. And that's, by the way, our magazine article that comes out the December, January.
It's your words, mate.
I know. Well, the December, January edition of Cyclist Australia magazine. The centerpiece will be Tommy and I from Patrick Bros, photography of our work in that, and I did write up an amazing piece about. It's just prepare to be immersed about gravel. So
I'm not gonna lie, ChatGPT did an excellent.
No, I asked it for some help, but I definitely steered it. No, it's a good read. Another one, Troy. He says Del Troy winning the Mexican champs. I mean, he was racing. He
wasn't. He was in the Conti scene. Mate. You can only beat who's on the stage.
They should have just given him the titles. He's tired. He's had a long season.
Apparently, he was in his hometown as well. So, like, to try and get him to come back for it. It was like we'll have the race literally in your home area, hometown.
So there was everyone.
Yeah. So they put the screws on a little bit like the Welch has done at the moment, trying to get Tata into the World Cup. They're starting it in Monaco.
He only won the TT by a minute. Yeah, I was going to check to go just to really rattle all.
Didn't even use this wheel.
Oh, that's why. That's why. Mandy says your respective sailing careers. Well, I was sailing 2 weeks ago.
I was a state champion back then.
Opening day, I didn't see that.
No. I only sail skiffs, mate. I don't venture into the keel boats, but I'd like to.
Jigsaw made off the mast. I had to get pulled up in the seat up the mast.
You'd be the bloke who's on the foredeck, and then everyone down the stern's just going, "Oh, this fucking bloke,
The spinnaker, no.
Next time I'd have to say, "Oh, he's the owner's son-in-law," and that'll shut up.
We do a bit of saying, don't we? But obviously, I'm much more renowned. Someone said Tom's cornering on the weekend.
What? Who said that? Oh, piss off, Harrison.
Tom's, you cornering like a gooch.
No, shout out Harrison Holmes, actually. Great operator on the tools. Does his best work off the bike these days. He was out there at Midland volunteering as a marshal. Great work by the young man. Love to see it. Yeah. It was just on the first corner, this first left-hander. I was actually taking it as fast as I could, or as fast as you could. And I was maybe, just around the sort of start line then. And you could sort of see up the road, and I was like, I was going to use a little bit more of the tarmac that was permitted, and I was doing that. So maybe that's what he was having a bit of a go at. And, rightly so. You got to stay on the double white, don't you?
Okay. There's a few more, but we do have to get into the rest of this, the real meat of this episode.
Moving on.
Zwift, by the way, and I've got the shirt on. We talked about Zwift. We've got the new logo. See up there next to Richard Carapaz. For those watching on YouTube, the new routes on Zwift have landed October 27th, America time. So that's probably tomorrow in Australia world. The new routes and kilometres, which are in New York, are going to be released. So looking forward to those brand new kilometres. So make sure, get on and try and fine tune your summer crit form or your Rico rides. You can entertain yourself with some new routes. Let's get into it. This is Roadside, presented by Zwift. So the Episports Roadside news. It's some real juicy stuff we're going to get into. Before we do, I'm starting to think about my tour down under setup, Tommy. We are going to be there, of course, like we were last year in many capacities. Of course, for the pod.
We will.
Thinking about the tube setup. I want to just line the tubes up for those Wollonga rides, the hills rides in the mornings, the Magine XR TPU tubes. I want to get a set. You've got some already.
Yeah, mate, I'm ahead of the game here. I've actually been running these tubes.
They are the latex ones.
They are. They're also the most cost-effective way to do this setup. And it's just iconic Magine. It's quality at like such a good price. I'm rocking it with the Pirelli Zeros.
Yep.
I've got a 28 on the front, 30 on the rear.
Beautiful.
Really liking the combo, but I couldn't believe like how much they actually. Not only is it just a weight difference, like a pure standalone weight difference. When you set off your bike, do you actually feel that weight in the pickup? Yeah, it did. So set it up over the weekend, and you've got this feeling of like almost back in the day when I was riding like this tubular at like a lower PSI. They just handle really nicely. They feel super nippy in the hands. I was really impressed. I for one am not a person who is like penny pinching on the ground on 30 grams here or there. Couldn't care. Have a piss before you start. But for this, I was actually really impressed. Well, each tube weighs 36 grams. So that's 3 times lighter than your normal in a tube. So I think they're about $20 that Magine make them. And if you want to drop 150 grams or like drop 100 grams on your overall bike weight, this is the easiest way to do it. Yeah. So with a good set of Pirellis, you will drop 100 grams at each wheel. And on a good set of Magines. Like don't mind them. All right, well, I'm going to complete the set. So I think for TDU, I'm going to get into some of those and make my setup lighter. We are going to talk about Sam, of course, the big news, Sam Welsford. We are going to get into that, but just a little bit later on, we'll talk about Sammy. I think he's been stitched up.
But the first Tour de France route reveals were all over the socials. The Tour de France, the Zwift crew, and everyone did a great job on Instagram because it was everywhere. Wasn't it? The route reveals, the big thing.
We should start with the positives here, shouldn't we, mate? The Tour de France, obviously the season's end, they all do this big song and dance, but the best thing I saw out of this is Zwift. They commit to another 4 more years.
Yeah, with the Fems, yeah.
Of Fems.
Yep.
How good is that? I'm sorry. That is just, I've got to put that right on the headline. Like, I actually really, really rate that. They've jumped on the gun and they've been there since the beginning. And chapeau to Zwift.
Yeah, and it's paying off in spades. That from a marketing perspective, they obviously were, Zwift was a major part of the Tour de France. Fems, Avax Zwift, even going ahead, becoming what it was. Zwift is really the reason why it was able to do so. But the return they are getting,
it's exceptional.
The return is unbelievable. So another 4 years for them. We saw the men's and women's routes revealed. I have to say, I don't really care about the route reveals, and I wonder if anyone actually does. They always post that stupid map of France with all the stage, the lines everywhere. It's like an average person who doesn't live in France or Europe, really, just an average fan, they'll look at that map and go, am I looking at a yellow shield? And where the fuck are all the stages? I don't get it. The better way they should do it is just someone on Twitter post all of these stage profiles next to each other, 21 in a graphic. That is a way better announcement than just the map of France, which I don't even know where it is, even though I've been all around there. I still don't know. And does it matter where the route goes?
Yeah, it certainly does. It certainly does, because in France, mate, you've got so many different mountain ranges, and the climbs do vary in style, length, parkour, and demand. So it's pretty quick to sort of set up a route that can favour one or another by depending on what regions they visit. If we saw a Tour de France like we saw this year, for example, this new Tour de France route that they present, in a summary, it's a little bit more void of those chaotic days where the GC boys have to be on every single day.
Okay.
Think back at the Tour de France this year, and we saw stages 3 and 4 up in Brittany, and they went over the Mur, and there were just stages, those chaotic days. We're kind of without that to a certain degree. Barcelona, where they're starting this year, next year's Tour de France, is going to be still a little bit like that, but not as much. You've got a team time trial format, which is not really a team time trial to begin with. It's more of like a lead out.
Yeah.
Dropping off your last rider.
Time from your first rider.
Not a huge fan of that.
Yeah.
And then, the day afterwards, they are back in Barcelona with some finishing circuits. So I like the other part. The race moves into the Pyrenees, and then after the Pyrenees, which is overall isn't actually that much, that real difficult block, which we thought it might be, because overall it's kind of this crescendo is what Christian Prudhomme, the race director, has described it. It's a crescendo towards the Alps. So the Pyrenees, they're not that hard. They go across to the Central Massif, and then they're into the Alps.
I know. But I know you are the nothing for all this shit. Everyone's listening, just going, I don't know what any of those places mean or where they are geographically. I think they could market it way better.
They could summarise it. It's a lot of information to get out, though.
Video, say, I would just have a reel and be 5 sprint stages, then montage some epic sprints that have been in the areas where they've gone, then go 3 TTs, and then show some videos, montage of the TTs, or the changing the bikes, or someone crashing or burnout.
Oh, big crash
wheel, Well, not the crashing, but skidding the back wheel, and then the mountains, and then show the highlights from the mountains that they're using. And then you go, okay, cool, we've got 5 sprints, we've got 2 TTs, we've got 5 mountains, and they're using Vento. That would be way better than the graphic, because I just don't even care when I see that graphic. And
when they do the fly through, and it's like the little dot from the stage start to finish, and they put it on warp speed, and it's like this dot fly through, and you just you don't know what's going on, but all you know is that the screen's flickering really fast in front of your face, and you can't take your eyes off it.
We do this to Tour de France Sundowner. So
we do this Tour de France Sundowner for the last couple of years for Allianz France here in Perth, and we present the Tour. Well, I've presented the Tour de France route, and I've used these videos, and every time I've done it and presented it to my friends as a bit of a tester, they all go, mate, we just cannot take our eyes off these videos. We don't care what you're saying about where the race is, But these videos are just so captivating.
They're good.
But they don't have the information that we need in there.
It's like the old. They used to be able to get the Strava. You used to be able to do it with your own ride. You could put it on Instagram where you went. The line follows where you went. But anyway,
So it's a cash cow, mate. It's a post-season. It's a bit like how AFL does the trade period, mate. You know, they let the grand final news simmer. The season settles. There's a bit of a dead spot. ASO, they have done it so well, mate. They invite all the big wigs in, and stupidly they go every year, and there's a bit of press. But it is an interesting one. If you are one of those teams on the outer wanting to get a wild card, you've got to go to this.
You've
got to be there, greasing hands. You know, we saw last year Torkushoff and Fabian Cancellara. Torkushoff, the GM of Uno X, and Tudor with Fabian Cancellara. They were at each other. And to try and get that spot at the Tour de France.
That's a great point because the OG listeners of the pod will know we had Jens Hagemann, the original founder of Uno X. We had him on the pod 3 times. Every summer in January we would talk, and he'd always give us a transfer person he was going to get that year, and he went and got them every time. He said on the pod. He was a great guy, a really good philosopher, and just a hard dude. But he left the team, and Thor Hussoff, the former world champion, took over the reins. And I feel like the team got to that point where Jens has taken them and built them as far as he can take them. And then you need the front man with all the collateral that a former world champ like Thor would have, or like Fabian, to get them across the line with the shaking of the hands and get them to that world tour level. And I think that move, as sad as it was, because Jens was the heart and soul, and it's his team. He created his brand. Uno X is him.
Who do you reckon could do that from Australia? Who would be the ex-pro? Who would you put out? Robbie McEwen?
You need someone who's got
Scooter.
No, I think you need Goodell. Even though he would be a nightmare trying to organise logistics and, he would be like frantic and nervous. The great man, he would be the one. He'd shake their hands, and he's such a professional. And I think it'd have to be Goodell. Robbie, in the photos, too short. I think you need someone who stands tall.
Too short, Robbie.
You
can talk to him next time you see him over 2 years.
No, he's a great guy. I'm not talking. It's all about optics. Goodell, the Tour de France, the winner.
He is. I reckon he could get Giant when he retires.
Giant,
Bit of Italian. He's got that covered, mate. I reckon he'd be good. He'd be good operating there.
Yeah, okay, maybe. I'm not sure. But anyway, speaking of World Tour applications, they all came through, I think, last week. And
with the season ending, it ended a 3-year cycle for UCI points where we finally, in the relegation, it's the second time they've done this relegation cycle across 3 years, where the first 18 teams get World Tour licenses for the next 3 years. You still got to apply.
Yeah. So
some get paperwork in order.
Well, yeah, that's right. And often this gives us a great insight to see what the team's going to be called for next year, because their team name has to be stated what they'll be for 2026 or at least that period. So Pinarello-Q36.5 will be the new name of Q36.5. As we heard, well, you might have read somewhere that Pinarello have moved with Pidcock.
Yeah.
They'll be the bike sponsor.
Well, Pinarello they actually, or vice versa, I forget which way it is, but Pinarello is owned by Q36.5, the parent company, or the other way around.
Yeah.
So the deal was inevitable. Yeah. And Scott, they needed their product on the market, and they were able to secure Q36.5. But now it kind of left Scott. They need to find somewhere for their bikes to go.
It's a cool, man.
Yeah,
I always love the DSM Scott. I like that. But
I'd ride anything if something goes.
They have applied for a World Tour license despite not even being. They're not even in the rankings to be a World Tour team. They are like third behind, I think, on the rankings. So they've actually applied for a license that they aren't even owed. So that leaves me to think, Tommy, that they must have done a deal with someone. Maybe they are buying a license from a team who is folding. So
how it is, you can still apply. You can apply regardless of where you finish for where you think you would like to be next year. So, for example, Cofidis, the French team who actually finished outside the top 18 spots, and even the 19th spot, thanks to the merger of Intermarché and Lotto, they actually still applying for a World Tour license, despite being outside of the actual top 18 to get a World Tour license. Okay. So in case you don't get your paperwork, like this situation,
they're hoping someone trips up.
Precisely.
Yes.
And that's the same with Q36.5.
What I've read, the rumours is that Q36.5 Pinarello have made some agreements with Lotto and Intermarché, who are merging. They both have World Tour licenses. Lotto retained their license in the merger. Intermarché is up for sale, or it's up for grabs. It'll just be there. So I think that is the license that Q36.5 Pinarello are trying to obtain. Now, on the
I won't get it though.
Well, we'll see. We don't know. We'll see. Jayco, on the other hand, they didn't file their paperwork and have not put an application for the World Tour or the Women's World Tour. So both of their teams right now, they can put it in later. I think there's like an extension period. But
yeah, it is.
This is
it's
not
a
the
lead
first
period.
time.
It's a lead period. You're correct on both accounts. So it's a lead period. But most interestingly enough, if you do not lodge your paperwork and it's successful by that date, all your riders who have a contract with the paying agent of the team, those contracts are void. So say if you're a Luke Platt and Ineos say, mate, we want you back, we're prepared to pay you, double.
Cyclocross team signing.
Precisely. Yeah, exactly. They can. And it's an interesting one because we have seen it in the past, and it puts a bit of pressure on a team like Jayco at the moment because they had Paul Double who won the Tour of Guangxi, the final World Tour race. So he was a Neo rider. He's on a Neo Pro contract. His worth, mate, after having that win has just probably tripled or doubled at least. So if you're a team, say like a Visma, or you're a team like a Quick Step and say, hey, mate, hold up, we're prepared to double your contract. You can break it and come with us right now. He can do that.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of time sensitivity with Jayco to sort this out. My understanding that it was like a grammar error or something. It was something minuscule, it'll be sorted.
That's a finance issue. That's what that is. Because Alula are not coming back for 26. There won't be no Alula.
Where do you get that, my friend?
That's
well known.
That's well known. At least from what I see, what I hear, what I understand. Alula are not going to be there next year.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, right. I'm pretty sure that's the case. I might double check it.
Brett Cooper in the GM, he's got his hands full.
And Jerry is just going to continue backing the team, but obviously,
we love Jerry.
Yeah, superstar. Obviously, they're going to need someone else to be there so they can, it means they won't lose riders like Groves. They won't lose riders.
Groves.
Well, they lost him to the team a couple of years ago because they couldn't afford what he was worth, and Alpson took him.
Yeah.
So that's the idea. You can't match them. When you get some good riders that start to perform, you can't match them. Now, we do need to talk about the transfers. Let's get to the transfers.
Yeah, as much as I want to talk about the World Tour situation, the Tour de France route.
We've got 30 minutes. We haven't talked about the whole pin-up for this whole episode. I wanted to have it off the top of the show. Tom is the one you should be yelling at. He's pushed it out.
Content's been good, so
the content has been good. But this is the big thing here. Tommy, mate, have Ineos pulled the rug from under Sam Welsford? Because it is almost November, October 28th or 27th for recording. It's almost November. It was in June that Daniel Benson was reporting on his site, his Substack, that Sam Welsford to Ineos 2-year deal was a done deal. It is in November. There has been no announcement. And Sam, he's riding a Pinarello bike right now. The photos are out there. Where is the announcement? I'm starting to worry that Brailsford, taking control, is maybe going, you know what? Maybe we don't want him now, and left him without a team in the worst possible time where budgets are set, contracts are all tied up, and, teams are full.
So, first and foremost, Dan Benson, one of the premier journos on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
He's reporting that there's an agreement done between Sam and Ineos. Now, any agreement before August the 1st is what they say like a pre-contract agreement.
Okay.
There's legalities tied, and we've seen in the past with even Ineos themselves, with the Spanish rider Carlos Verona, who won a stage at the Giro. He rides for Lidl Trek.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he signed a pre-agreement a season or two ago with Ineos. When pushed down to shove at the tail end of the season, and they said, mate, we actually don't want to honour this contract. We don't want you on our list. We're going to go somewhere else. He still had that money from Ineos, and he went to Lidl. Or he went somewhere else, and he had a ride somewhere. He was able to get a ride somewhere else, but he was still getting that contract, that money from Ineos. They were still paying.
So do you think that...
So my understanding is that I think Sam has had one of those lined up with Ineos. they might have potentially pushed back and said, we're going to explore our options elsewhere. Sam might be wanting to pursue that contract with Ineos, at least that financial, security. It's your contract, it's your livelihood.
Bloody oath.
And this is, not on Sam or Ineos, in my opinion. It's the fact that they can't announce contracts or sign rights outside of a trade period. But Sam, on the other hand, my understanding is that I don't know if the door is closed on Red Bull, because if he would like to return there, or if what other avenues he's exploring. But the big question, like you said, mate, is if that was, if he had that deal with Ineos, why have they not announced it?
It's very,
we're in the tail end of October. It's November. Why? He is one of probably the, if in a world where UCI points are so valuable, you need to have sprinters on your list.
Sprinters who can actually win. And particularly
or just get points, mate.
Yeah, or just in the whole third of the season, the Australian part of the season. Sure, they are riders that can only perform in the Australian world. I'm not just saying
or they can prioritise.
Yeah, they prioritise that. But to have someone who can just dominate that whole sector and just be a big star, you're on the billboards, the marketing level of that's worth a lot more than just, say, some random Chinese races at the end of the year. So it just seems crazy. And if they haven't announced him by now, I think something's gone up. And even though we said it a couple of weeks ago, well, we might as well confirm that Sam's right for Ineos because we got sent the picture of him on the Pinarello. Geez, that's confusing. Now, I don't know. And I think only just the start of October, I think Dan Benson reported on his own thing saying maybe there's a bit of a hold up with this deal. So why would Ineos do that, though? Yeah. They have an ex-sprinter.
I think the thing with Ineos at the moment, and this is kind of like a bit of a macro look at it, is that they've kind of lost some senior leadership in Zach Dempster, who's gone across to Red Bull. We all know Brailsford's come back onto the scene. There is a little bit of a revolving doors with some of their other DSs. I think if they were going to take one of their senior riders who's retired on as a DS. So there's just been a little bit of a shift in there and how they do things, and it's taken them quite a while just to announce riders that they've signed. Fully, like Kevin Vauquelin, that took quite a lot. Wow, Dorian Gourdon, the French national champ. It's taken quite a lot.
Kwiatkowski might be leading too.
Yeah, and I think he signed I think he signed again with them.
And another touching point is that when Brailsford, he's taken back control. So when he ran the team, he didn't just run director sportif, oversee the coaching, oversee the rider management, oversee the Swanee management, oversee the logistics. He has his finger in every single one of those pies. He's a micromanager. He was over everything, and that's one of the reasons why the team was very successful. And this is something that I've read a lot in the books of Cav, the books of his sort of understudy, Rob Ellingworth, and Geraint Thomas, and Froome as well. All say this, that Brailsford is like, he oversees and knows everything. Extremely hard worker. That's why he's gone everywhere. So with him coming back to the team, and then obviously implementing that style where I think they had a bit more of a carefree, more relaxed, open style, that can be quite jarring to any setup. And all of a sudden, these transfers, he's now getting his hands on things going, well, actually, I don't like that transfer. We're going to walk back. And maybe this is just why Welsford has left, in limbo.
Yeah, and it certainly adds, further complications onto the market as well with a sprinter of his calibre. Jayco obviously being an Australian team, I think they're in conversations with Sam as well, along with a few other sort of teams.
Because they were there early. Jayco were early looking at Sam.
Yeah, and I don't think there was much interest from Sam's side of the fence. I think he was exploring opportunities elsewhere. And I just think it's interesting because Jayco, it's been long rumoured and reported as well that they've signed Pascal Ackermann, the German sprinter, from Israel. So then you go, well, ultimately they would prefer to have Sam. What sort of money would they be paying Pascal? Would they move him on? And then is he looking at his options elsewhere to try and, ultimately why haven't Jayco on it status with that? So there are more layers to this, and this story is going to just be evolved.
So maybe now that
I just hope both riders end up finding a rider.
Oh, 100%.
That's all I'm saying.
We are speculating it could be tomorrow that Welsford gets announced for Ineos, but it's very, very, very strange. You're saying that with Ackermann reportedly coming to Jayco, the Tsar signing, but they do need a sprinter.
Well, they missed out on Olaf Koy to Decathlon. Was their initial
coming to Jayco? I mean, they wouldn't be able to pay half of his worth. But
let's
say that Jayco are saying, "Hey, Sam's now we're hearing Sam's available. We've just pre-committed, let's say 400k to Ackermann to come last." let's walk it back and say, Ackerman, you can keep the bike. We're going to sign Welsford now. Like, that could be what's happening now, and I'm praying to God that's the case, because Jayco needs someone who can win, not someone who could fill a jersey out and fill his bank balance, because that's what Ackerman would do. I mean, what a silly signing that is.
Oh, I thought it was actually pretty savvy. The money that they would be paying him and gotten him off from Israel for the UCI points that he showed that he's accrued. He is a rider that you can send to a lot of sort of either Pro Series races as well, with not much of a lead out, and actually go get UCI points. I actually thought it was quite a good move.
Okay. I reckon he would be able to win the SA kick it criterion.
Next one. No.
Agnoletto would absolutely smoke him. Big.
You tell me when Agnoletto steps up from Conti, from riding a Groupama Conti team. So I'd like, mate, I would pay to see it. I'd pay good money to see that.
Okay.
That would be enough to get me out to the talent then, not just to catch him.
Well, I hope they tear up that guy. I hope they wrote Ackerman's contract on a Sarkartar and they just crunch it.
I hope they didn't. I hope they take both sprinters and they go full gas on that front.
Okay. All right. Well, what do you guys think? Are we just barking up the wrong tree? Are we the Mystic Max? Yes, we are. The Oracles.
No.
Is something more coming? We got sent the anonymous photo of Sam.
Nothing's anonymous in this day and age, mate.
No, sent it to me, but it was a rider. It was a rider in blue kit.
Yep.
Anyway, other Aussies.
Yeah, we'll wrap through this. We've got the rest of the Australians through this transfer period.
Other Aussies who are in limbo. Is this what this list is?
I'll work my way through this, mate. So, top of the line, Jared Drisner's, he moves across from Lotto to Red Bull, so he strengthens that classic squad. You wouldn't have seen much of him unless you had a keen eye, but Drisner's very solid domestic rider.
Yeah,
I think he's a really good signing.
Haters dues at Lotto, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Chris Harper, he moves from Jayco to Q36. He won the Queen stage of the Giro this year.
Is it fit? Is he fit and healthy?
So my understanding is that Chris has been battling a bit of an injury ongoing in the tail end of the year. It's actually something he rode through with the majority of the season with. But I believe he's on the mend. Yeah, no, I'm a bit shabby on the details.
If he was riding all season with it, must have been chronic. But we had a good way. He finished the season strong. How good to finish on a big Queen stage win
in the Giro,
as you then sign a contract. That is just perfect.
Yeah,
those dollars, because he's worth a lot. He's had a great career. He's really good at Jumbo. Showed his stuff in the third week.
Really at Jumbo. He was great at Jumbo, and it was fascinating. Even his journey before then to win it. I think it was Tour of Japan. He won on Mount Fiji.
Yes.
And he just showed the world. They were all like, okay, this guy's got it. And he was a little bit older and he'd been in the system. Mate, he'd been on the podium at Nationals for like 3 years when he was in Ballarat.
He went 1-2.
Yeah. Gave it to him.
It was superstar.
Jensen Plowright, I believe, is staying at Alpecin to coin it. He was the key lead-out man for our man, Katie Grooves.
He showed enough at the Giro, the big plough.
Yeah, he did.
Showed enough at the Giro. I think that was impressive by him.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. Yeah. Brady Gilmore, he's going to step up from the Conti ranks to the great man. We don't need to spend too much time on this. Man. Now, I want to get your brains on this. 2 Neo pros, Neo inverted commas were one of them, stepping up to Jayco Alula from the Hagensbergen team.
The development Jayco Alula?
Yeah, so we've got Hamish McKenzie, who was actually pre-written on a contract for quite a while. So he had a contract with the Conti team to then step into the World Tour team. So he steps up. He's a classy rider, Hamish McKenzie. But this bloke, Vinny Manon. I don't know him. Tell me about him.
Vinny Manon. Yeah, we've seen him in the under-19s, under-17s setup. I think he's Victorian.
Yeah.
He's a big boy. Okay. Big wide shoulders. He's a big unit. It looks good all rounder. I prefer him over a Hamish McKenzie. I like Hamish McKenzie. He's like you said, he is a classy rider. Obviously, strong time trialist. But I always worried with a rider like him. I think Cam Rogers is the same. A bit one speed. You just can't be one speed going into the World Tour. So maybe that's an area he can develop. Versus that Vinny Magnon, he's a bit more a powerhouse, punchy, kind of like a Del Toro Pog type of rider.
Yeah, okay, bring it on.
He's a big young lad. I think he's only 17 or 18 years old. He's a big young lad, and his younger brother as well.
Can't be that young stepping into the World Tour, surely.
Maybe he's like 20. He's like 20.
Okay, we'll get the
So anyway, but he's a big boy. It's what I like to see. I love the big.
Yeah, you love
big Who else you've got? You've got us in Haig.
So Jack Haig, his contract's up at Bahrain Victorious. I believe he's
time's up.
I think he's on the move, mate. I think from what I've heard, he's got a ride, and I think it's at Ineos. I'm waiting to hear on that.
Don't
Now,
tell me they've signed him over Welsford. Look, I love all Australian riders.
okay.
But Haig is in the worst mould you could ever be in a pro cyclist, particularly in this era where there are so many teams, folding up.
Okay. No.
Hang on, let me finish my saying. He's in the mould of being a C-grade climber, where unfortunately, if you're a C-grade climber, all you can do is work as mountain support in stage races, or if you're lucky, a Vuelta, and you're doing mountain support on the second climb of the day, not the last one. There's 5,000 riders that can do that role who are not, a little bit older. That's all you can do. You can't ride the flat because you're too small, too narrow, don't have the horsepower, the raw.
He's a big unit.
He's tall, but he's thin and gangly, and he crashes a lot. Can't ride crosswinds. No use in the classics. Couldn't put him there. It's just, I'm just saying, his type makes him very hard to sign. Just like a sprinter who's no longer fast. They're useless because they can't do anything else. A pure climber who is not in the top 50 of climbers is useless.
No, so
and Haig's day is done. He's washed like an old bib.
No, you got Cadell, Hindley,
okay,
O'Connor, Haig,
and once they couldn't be in the top anymore,
that is all the Australians, or maybe I might be missing someone who have finished on the podium at a Grand Tour.
Haig doesn't guarantee a contract forever.
No, it certainly doesn't. But he's still only 30. He is still able to step into a new environment. I reckon you put him in a new environment. He's been Bahrain for a couple of years now. He went there. He signed there with, he re-signed there with the premise of trying to win a Grand Tour. That's what he went because he had that result at the World Cup. He was third. It was a great ride, mate. It was a good ride, and I just think he still has a lot to give. Yeah, I think in the right environment. 8 minutes
in like the fourth stage of that Volta.
Yeah, and he won it all back, mate. There you go. The chip good.
He was in the breakaway. He got it back like Seppa Velda style.
Oh, we
on
love
the first mountain climb of that Volta that year, he got shelled like a bag of chips, and he lost like 8 minutes.
The O'Connor fan club. That's what we're all about.
Look, I'm not trying to hawk shit on anyone. Hey, what a legend, and we love our Australian riders. And he got his actual worst luck was the year after that Volta podium where he went to target the Tour, and he was in that big crash on the downhill that was not his fault. He snapped his collarbone. That was where he was probably going to get his best result ever, but he did it. But I'm just saying that when you're the one speed rider, you only can do one thing. It makes it very hard to sign you because there's 20 young Frenchies who can do that role.
20 young Australians at the time. Moving on, Lucas Hamilton at Ineos, contract's up. He might extend. I don't know. It's a bit of an open-ended one.
Yeah,
Alex Edmondson's a fascinating one. Been around at DSM for what feels like an eternity since leaving Jayco. He's just sort of been part of the lead-out train there. Part of the sort of he's aged into that kind of older rider there.
A little bit of classic support as well, I think.
Got no idea. Absolutely no idea where this is at. I'd like to see him continue. Very good rider. The sort of rider who I think could just morph into being a great captain on the road if he already isn't. Miles Scottson followed Arnaud Demar to Arkea. Arkea have folded. Demar's retired. He's good enough to go around as a lead out. He's 31. I reckon he's got a couple more years to give. Whether or not a lead out train out there that can, squeeze him in at the right price.
Miles he did probably the best. I would say maybe not the most stylish, but the smartest thing with his career when he stopped trying to ride, for himself in his first couple of years when he was Australian champ.
Yep.
And he said, you know what? I'm not really good enough to do anything here except be a lead out. And he just paired himself with Demar. And then wherever Demar went, he brought him with him. They were at FGJ, and then they moved to Coffee, to Arkea, wherever the hell they went to. But they went together. Demar would give them the bonuses. He was a great team. They had, I don't know who the third rider in their train was, but also they had a really good trio. They were actually super good. And he just pigeonholed himself as that rider. And
second last rider on the lead out. Sort of guy who just when things are so chaotic, he would look around and go, right, we just need to be in this position and I can drop you off. And the last man, he was just a godsend for the last lead out.
He should have been delisted after maybe his fourth year as a professional, Miles Scottson, but he did it because he actually was smart about what he did with his career, particularly those one-speed riders coming off the track, where they've really just got the big turn of speed for short term and maybe the ability to have an engine with a lot of training and dedication. He just did a great job. So a lot of riders who come off the track who don't have the punch and maybe they're a bit heavy, they're bigger riders because he's a big boy, like he's 6'2", He did a really good job, but now, I mean, Demar's done.
Yeah.
Where does he go?
We'd like to see him get around. And finally, I believe the man who's been with Jaco his whole life, Hepburn,
No contract.
Not be offered, or at least it could be the end of the road. I don't know. I wouldn't close the door just fully just yet, because he's
by someone.
Well, that's why I'm not closing the door fully,
Okay.
is because it could be one of those wait and see at the end of the season where they go, oh, okay, we've got the budget, we've got a spot, we could use another senior rider.
And maybe the Sam thing is holding a few.
Yeah, absolutely, a log jam. So with Hepburn, he's a classy rider. He's the sort of rider, I think, when those teams sort of in the middle to the bottom end of the list, they need those riders because he's experienced enough that you go, right, mate, we need you to go to the Volta Valencia, do a 10-time trial, then we need you to go to this race, and he could do it. And he knows it's a job.
If they want to go to the Tour with Groenewegen next year,
They could pick up a Hepburn.
A Hepburn and a Scotson. Imagine Scotson helping Groenewegen in that lead out.
That'd be great. They would be sensational additions.
We have been dribbling on for a little bit, so we'll get our final words coming up right after this final break. Final words to wrap up, mate. Of course, this is the off season, so we want to hear what you guys want us to talk about. There's not going to be as much news to talk about, but of course, plenty to speculate on and other things to talk about. But let us know what you want to hear from any topics, anything about cycling, because we want to unpack it.
Yeah, we certainly do, mate. It's going to be a big Aussie summer of cycling sort of around the corner. Before we know it, in November, you get through that. TDU on the cards.
And we'll be posting for the YouTube listeners as well. We will be posting our Tour of Margaret River TVs on this as well. So even if you don't follow, of course, you don't live here, you're not participating, you might not be interested. It still is a bit of fun. Just a little 10, 15-minute special of us talking a lot of shit about what happened.
Oh, I can't get it done quick enough and then get to the golf course.
Well, we'll definitely have some highlights or lowlights from Tom's point of view from the golf course as well. But thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll catch you all on the next episode in a fortnight's time.
Bye for now.